everybody, welcome to Life in New York City and Japan. In this channel, we are going to talk about lifestyle and culture in both Japan and New York. My name is Manami. As always, I'm here with my friend Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Manami.
Today, this is our third episode, and we're going to talk about opportunity in New York. I know there are a lot of people come to New York for their new opportunity, and I am one of them. I came here to study performing arts administration at New York University, and I chose New York because New York is, of course, famous for all kinds of art and performing arts. So I wanted to study about performing arts administration in a place where I can expose myself to different types of art. So Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of opportunity you were looking for when you came to New York?
Yes, when I was in Texas, I wanted to study international affairs and poetry. And because New York is so diverse and has so many great writers here and is also the home to the UN, I decided coming here would be the best place to study literature and poetry, as well as international affairs. And the new school, which is where I ended up going for college and grad school, is very good at liberal arts. It has small classes, and it's also the college where famous people like Jack Kerouac, Marlo Brando came to study at. And so I felt that by coming to New York, I would be able to have a really good education in a place with a lot of diversity and opportunity.
Yeah, diversity is a really big thing in New York. So I came to New York in 2017 and I'm from Japan. So when I was in Japan, a couple of people say I have to do kind of the same thing as other people. And I don't know why, but I always wanted to do my own things. So I decided to go to grad school. I decided to come to New York. And they always emphasize that I am different. But being different here in New York is not rare thing at all. It's really great opportunity for me to try my own things here because everybody kind of respect what I'm doing. Of course, in Japan, many people supported me, but society in Japan itself kind of expected me to do the same thing as other people. So that's why I came here, and then I'm glad to be here right now.
That's great. I'm really happy for you that you were able to find opportunity here.
Thank you, Andrew. So New York is known as a cultural melting pot. How does that affect the process of job hunting?
Definitely, if you've been in New York for a while, if you know where to go and who to talk to, that will be better than if you just came here out of nowhere. Also, of course, immigration, visas, those are other things that affect a person's opportunity to get a job. Also, what I've heard, at least in my field, is that if you want a job at the UN, it is better if you're international. Apparently, it is super hard for actual Americans to get jobs at the UN, and it's actually easier for international students.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I think in New York, there are a lot of job opportunities that international students can take. I'm in performing art industry, and there are a lot of nonprofit organizations which are trying to expand their programs to diverse people, and they want to hire someone from other countries, from other areas to support them to organize programs for international people.
I agree with all of that very much.
Yeah, but in New York, it's true that there are a lot of different opportunities, but at the same time, there are a lot of people who are applying for the same job. So I've heard one of my bosses in my internship said she wanted to hire an assistant and she got like 300 applicants to just one position.
That's definitely a sign of New York City because here in New York, there's so many people, one, there's so many people that are qualified too. And there's this idea in New York that you have to keep on going. It's the city that never sleeps. You have to keep on looking for opportunities, keep on trying to get a better job, keep on trying to stay involved. It's very difficult in the sense that you're surrounded by people who are constantly looking for work and who are constantly improving themselves. And so you feel like you're like battling everyone around you every day.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that. Even if it's just an internship opportunity, but there's so many students in New York. I was in the art industry. Of course, a lot of students are studying art and they are trying to get the same opportunity. But it was a really good opportunity for me to think about how to promote myself because I have to get that job competing with hundreds of students who have the same like skills, who have the same potentials, passions. So it was really good time for me to organize my appealing points, how I can promote myself.
I agree. The best example is where we both intern at, Japan Society, because it's so hard to get an internship at Japan Society for anyone. I mean, whether you're a person from Japan trying to get an internship there, or whether you're a person in New York trying to get an internship there, they are super careful about who they choose. Even by the time you get it, you're like, whoa, I'm not getting paid. But like, even to get an internship in New York is such a big deal. I think that's another aspect of finding opportunity in New York City is that you have to be willing to work hard every step of the way, even if it's an unpaid internship.
Yeah, agree. So we're going to talk about internship in more in detail the next episode. But yeah, internship itself is really hard to get. Most of the university in New York has some like support center for students who wants to revise their resume, who wants to practice their interviews. So I used those center over 10 times.
Those centers are very useful. I use them a lot too. I highly recommend resume guides. A lot of colleges have resume guides that are part of their school. And if you can, like talking to a career advisor, getting a resume guide is super helpful because you're going to have to send a different resume to each company and you're going to have to make sure your cover letter matches all of those resumes.
Yes, writing resume is kind of the first step that you can promote yourself to a hiring person. So resume is a really important. But the other thing about opportunity in New York is networking. A lot of people from New York told me, advised me that networking is really important here.
Yes, networking is such a big deal in New York. If you know someone that's big in the community you want to work for, you want to be able to talk with them. If you know someone who knows a lot about your field, you want to be able to talk with them. And a lot of the times, the thing is, in New York, there is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of places you can apply to, but it's knowing that. And the more people you know, the more you network, the more people who can teach you about those opportunities whenever they show up.
Yes, I agree. So how did you expand your network? What kind of tools did you use?
In terms of Japan, the way I expanded my network was trying to get an internship at a low level open place. So the first way I actually entered a Japanese community was by interning at an art gallery that was right next to my school. And I did that because a friend recommended that I do it. And from that opportunity, I met more people in the Japanese community, learned more Japanese, and then connected with those people and found more opportunities. So I think the best way to connect is first find a place that's open, find a place that's relatively public that you can start at and just put that on your resume and then be interested in where you're working, talk to the people, learn about their experiences. And from then on, people will tell you, oh, I know this experience. Oh, you should apply here. Oh, you should apply there. And you learn more and more as you go, and that's how you end up finding a good job.
Yeah, I agree with that. My first internship, I was working for a nonprofit theater in New York. And at that place, my boss recommended me to intern at Japan Society. And she knew someone from Japan Society. And she introduced me to her. And then I got the internship. So networking is a really, really big thing here. And another way to expand your network is using probably social media or meetup and go to some networking
Yes.
events. There are a lot of networking events in New York, so
Yes.
there are a bunch of different types of art professionals
Yes.
networking events, so you can go to those places too.
Yes, especially in regard to Japan, there's a lot of Japanese language meetups. There's a lot of international affairs meetups too. And the more you go to those meetups, the more you meet people that are interested in what you're doing. And just like you said, they can introduce you to an open position. I mean, I didn't get introduced to Japan Society, I just applied, but I applied to every position there. One time, I still don't know how it happened, but the director of the information center, the former director of the information center at the Japanese consulate, actually ended up contacting me on Facebook, seeing if I would like to go to one of their events one day. I think it's because of a teacher I had in Kyoto, but the point is, even without you asking, even just connecting with people by themselves, sometimes people will recommend you, like, unknowingly. And one day you'll find yourself with an opportunity that you won't know how you got, but it's mostly because whatever you did in your connections with other people made them think positively of you and told them that they should recommend you for something.
Yes, totally. I think so too. So, do you think New York is still a good place for an opportunity?
I think if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to talk a lot to a lot of people, if you're willing to travel from place to place all day long looking for opportunity, yes, because the point is in New York, you will find opportunity. It may take you a while, you may have to work really hard, but there's more opportunity here than in other states in the US.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard. It's not easy. It takes a while to get to just the start point. If you want to be a Broadway star in a month after you come to New York, it's hard. It's very difficult. But if you really want to pursue your dream, your opportunity, and if you are willing to work really hard to get a chance from a lot of different ways. First, you can probably contact with your friends who live in New York, and then you can get some information of that, and then you go to some networking event. It takes a while to just connect yourself to the starting point, but the good thing about New York is, as I said, there are a lot of people who are doing their own things. So if you want to do some like a little different things, creative things, then there are a lot of opportunities that allows you to do that.
Yes. If you are a creative person, New York gives you so many opportunities to work with musicians, work with artists, work with designers in order to create whatever you want to create. And I actually have a question for you, but when you came here, did you find that there were other Japanese communities here that could help you a lot? Or did you kind of feel like you had to look for it on your own a lot?
Well, when I first came here, I tried not to contact with Japanese people a lot because I was trying to expose myself to the atmosphere of New York, and I
Right,
wanted
right.
to be used to how I should live in New York. But after a couple of years, I joined some Japanese social groups, and it really helps because they know my background more than, of course, American people, and Japanese community are connected each other. So if I join one Japanese group, and then I can get tens of people from that community. Some person can introduce me to another person who is in the other group, and then that person can introduce me to the other group. So once you join one group, your network will
Right.
expand very quickly.
That's true. I mean, that's exactly what I found with the Japanese community too, is that unlike a lot of communities in America, they're all connected. If you know someone from NHK, they probably know someone that like manages Dainobu, which knows someone that works at the consulate, which knows someone who like works at Japan Village. And that was really clear when I looked up Panya, because Panya and Cafe Zaya actually provide all the bread for most of the Japanese restaurants in New York City. So you're right. One of the reasons I connected to Japan so much and the Japanese community here in New York so much is because I noticed that they not only are they more understanding, but they also help you get further.
That's true. But I think it's not only about Japanese community, but I started interning at one of the nonprofit organizations here, and then lots of people working there knew so many other people who are working for different theater companies. Once I talked with my boss, she could introduce me to the other person from the other nonprofit organization, nonprofit theater. It doesn't have to be a direct way to get a job, but you can talk to a lot of people who are working in a real industry, and that kind of help too.
Yes, industry professionals staying in the loop of news related to your industry. So, for example, I like Japan, so I read Japan Times, or I read Nikkei Shinbun, or Nikkei East Asian Review. And if you like art, maybe you read the New Yorker, maybe you read like gallery updates and gallery news. So I completely agree. It's all connected. I mean, if you just join a group, that won't help. You have to have a role. You have to have a reason why you're joining the group. You have to have something you can contribute to the group. So I think first you need to make sure you're working hard for your goal and that you have your dream set. Then second, you should join a group, because when you join a group, you shouldn't join a group like, oh, I don't know anything, I don't know anyone, please help me. You should rather join the group as, this is what I want to do, these are my goals, this is what I've done in the past, let's work together.
I totally agree with you. I think having your dream and having your goals are really important, because whenever I talk to some person from theater or from a nonprofit organization, they always ask me, what do you want to do? What do you want to do in the future? What did you do in the university? What did you study in the university? And how do you want to contribute to our company? So I ended up studying about theater education at New York University. So I had a specific goal that I want to work for art education department in a theater company. And I wanted to design educational program that connects people from all over the world. So you have a point. You can't just talk to somebody, you can't just join a group without anything. You have to have your own goals and your passion.
And I guess to be like clear, even clearer, for example, if you didn't know about art, you wouldn't be joining an art group, because the reason you're joining the art group is to learn more about art and to work with art and to help work with other artists. Same with me. If I didn't know Japanese, I couldn't join a Japanese group because I wouldn't be able to speak to any of the members. So it's definitely more about finding people who share your same passion and share the same desire to do what you do in terms of building a community, not as much as a support group. I guess like a good separation would be counseling groups are where you go when you need someone to talk to and when you need to talk about counseling, because everyone going there wants to talk about counseling and counseling issues. Whereas a work group is more like, I do this, you do this, let's talk about what we do, let's help each other do what we do. But people don't go there for help. They go there to share updates in their fields and talk about what's going on in their world of business.
Yeah, and I think talking to other people will help you clarify what you really want to do. Usually have like a very general, big dream, like, I want to work for an art education. Art education itself is super big industry. There are tons of different types of art organization, art education. So what kind of art education do you want to work on? Who is your audience? But it's hard to think about it if you do not know enough knowledge or enough information of it. So that's why I recommend all of the people to talk with other people. And if you talk to some person from theater company, and if he or she is actually working for that department, they can give you some more specific examples, some more specific ideas.
And that's the spirit to come to New York with. I'm from Japan. I care about art education. I want to be able to work with artists. I want to come to New York where there's artists from around the world. Like, this is Manami, and let's work together. Like, that's how you come to New York, because with that attitude, people will be like, oh, cool, Tokyo. Oh, cool, you want to do art education. You know something I don't know. I know something you may not know. Great, let's work together. Just like with me, it's like, I come from Texas. That's good in the sense that maybe people here don't come from Texas. So we can work together on different projects because I have something they don't and they have something I don't. And I think that's the way to work with people, and that's the way to find opportunities in New York, is by recognizing how you fit in to New York City and the different companies instead of trying to focus on which company can help you out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you really need to work on finding your own strength, because most of the companies in New York want to hire a person who has a diverse background.
Yes.
And if you come to New York from some other places, you definitely should use your own background, utilize your background.
That's true. That's kind of the sad thing sometimes about New York, is that everyone here is trying to put forward an image like, oh, I'm so cool, I know this, I know how to do this. And it's almost like everyone's battling over like who's cooler or who has a better image of things. And I think that's the one thing I did notice about lifestyles in New York, is that everyone's always trying to take pictures of where they're going and putting it on Instagram, or trying to be some type of social media influencer. So that's the one thing you always feel in New York. But that's also the way you find opportunity here, by like, if you go to a restaurant or a cafe a lot and you start helping them with their social media, maybe that can be one of your side jobs, There's so much opportunity here, but you always have to keep on working at it. By coming to New York, you can definitely find opportunity if you're stronger than you think you are, if you believe in yourself, and if you, like you said, if you have an image of yourself, what you want to do and how you're going to achieve it, then people will support you. You won't even have to ask people. People will want to support you because they see what you're doing on your own. And they're like, wow, like if I can help this person, they'll do even better.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for today. And we're going to talk a lot more about our internship and how internship works in New York in the next episode. So we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, everyone.